Hi everyone, today we'll try to wind up this chapter 3 era of one party dominance. So today our topic will be what was the reason for the factor responsible or reasons for the Congress dominance over the political scenario of India. So let's try to look into the points, the different points of factor responsible for Congress dominance. So the first one was the historical legacy of the Congress. Now, historical legacy, we are talking about how the Congress organization has contributed towards the freedom struggle of India. Now, this Congress, they have played a very huge role in contributing towards the freedom struggle of India. And many leaders like Nehru, Gandhi and Rajendra Prasad, they were the leaders of this Congress party after the independence of India. So people, they could easily win over the confidence of the people. So the people, they started voting for the Congress party during the first 3 general election. The second one was, it was all India organization. Now Congress, being the oldest organization, it has widespread all over the country. Now it was not confined to one particular district or one particular city. It has widespread over different regions, districts and towns, or any part of the country. And because of this widespread structure, it benefited the Congress in a very huge manner. The third one was, it had a wide variety of social group within itself. Now, I remember telling you about the Congress as an umbrella organization because it has allowed, or it has admitted, all the sections of society in and around the country. Now, it was not confined to only one particular social status of one particular group of people. Like they did not only allow the Brahmins to become the member of the Congress, or like they did not allow only the professionals. They allowed each and every people to be a part of this Congress, no matter which religion they belongs to, which ideological group they have supported, or which social status they belongs to. So Congress, because of this, it has helped Congress in a huge manner once again, because they allowed all the section of the society. So all the section of the society, they extended their support over the Congress during the election. The fourth one was the electoral system. Now, FTPT system. Now in class 11, I think you have studied about the first past the post system. Now in this system, we all know that if the candidate who secured even a one single majority of vote, they will become a winner, or they will be elected as the they will be considered as elected. So in this electoral system, the Congress, since they have a large advantage of the Congress was they have a large organization, so they could easily dominate over the other group of society, other group of political party. Now, for instance, like in 1952, they secured only 45% of vote all over the country, but they could get on 74% of the seats. Now, if the voting system of India was to follow the proportional representation, then 45% they may not have achieved capturing 74% of vote, because their vote captured 74% of seats, because the voting person was only 45%. So 45%, maybe if they were to get it, they may only get 60 to 70 seats, or say 100. We're just taking an example. So if it was to follow the representational proportional representation system, then Congress could not have secured that much amount of seat percentage in Lok Sabha of 1952 election. So this electoral system also played a very huge role for the advantage for the Congress party because of their large organization. Now the parties at the state level. Now from 1952 to 1967, we all know that Congress has dominated the country, but it was not the only party around the country. We all know that. So in some part of the country, there were some other prominent political parties who have withstood the harsh hand of this Congress all over the country. Now the first one was the Justice Party in Madras in 1970, which was formed in 1917. Dravidra Kazhagam in 1944, founded by Ramasamy Naikar. He was also known as the Great Sage or Periyar. Again, there is Shiromani Akali Dal in Punjab. So all this group of political parties, they have played a prominent role in their own different districts, despite the strong opponent of the Congress all over the country. Now there is one government which was worth mentioning. It was the government of communist in Kerala in 1957. It was the CPI or the Communist Party of India who formed the government in Travancore, that is now the part of Kerala state. Now under 126 assembly seat, they could secure 60. Though Congress was dominating all over the part of the country in different districts, different states or towns, but in the south, in Cochin, the Communist Party of India, CPI, they were the one who was leading the government despite the rule of the Congress. So these people were worth mentioning. So there are some strong political parties in different states who have stood against the harsh rule of the Congress. Okay, now let's see the last part of our topic, the last topic for this chapter 3, that was the voting system now and then. Now when we say the voting system which we are following, or the things which we are following now, is very much easier to follow, or we have become so sophisticated using all these electronic things. Because of that, it has become easier to conduct even the election for a huge country like India. However, in 1952 and 57, we followed a very cumbersome, very huge method, which was very troublesome, which was very burden for the people of our country, especially the leaders. Now we used to follow this secret vote. Now the voters, they can vote any one of their choice of their candidate. So in the first two general election, the secret ballot box was provided. It was provided to each and every individual candidate. Now if there is 14 candidates, then there will be a 14 ballot box, something like that. So it was very, very cumbersome, it was very troublesome, and then it was very uneasy to conduct the election with all these things, because sometimes like the candidate may reach up to 15 or 20 in number, so they could not provide each and every individual with they have to provide each and every individual candidate with a ballot box of their own. So something like that, it was very troublesome. Secondly, in 1962, the third general election, this system was changed, and then they provided only one ballot box, but the voters, the voting slip or the voter slip which contained the symbols of their candidate, their candidate's name and the candidate symbols were provided to the voters, and then they can stamped against the candidate name and the candidate's symbol, and then they can drop into one common ballot box. So the system, it became a little bit easier in the third general election, because all they need to do was to provide the voter ballot paper to the voters with different all the names of the candidates and their symbols printed on one particular paper, and then the voters will be provided with the seal, and then they can put the seal against their own candidate symbol and their name, and then they can just keep it into one box. So things improved a little bit in the third general election. Now, like we have discussed, it was very cumbersome and it was very defective, because even this ballot box can be tampered, it can be easily switched, or even the voters can be easily manipulated by the officials. So this system was very cumbersome or very defective in nature. Now, like we have discussed, in third general election, common box was introduced, ballot paper with different symbols and names of the candidate was given out, and then it makes the election more easier. Now in present time, the electronic voting machine, EVM, electronic voting machine, has been introduced, and then this voting machine was first introduced in 16th assembly election in 1998, and in general election we first used in 2004. And now, so far, this is regarded as one of the safest election tool. Of course, there are many defective things about this EVM also. So this EVM, it has a blue button next to the candidate name and then their symbols, and then usually it will take only 15 seconds to cast their vote. Now you have to just go and press the button just below the symbol or the name of the candidate whom you are going to vote, and then if you press that button, your vote will be counted. So it has become, the election system has become easier and much easier as the days roll by and then the years roll by. Now this electronic voting machine is the latest development in the election system. You can see the description of the electronic voting machine in your textbook, page number 49. So that is all for today, or for this chapter we need to know. So if there is any confusion, or if you want to make any clarification, you are most welcome. You can reach me out in any ways. So thank you, stay safe.